Hey everyone, and welcome to The Take. I'm Elizabeth Wagmeister.
And I'm Clayton Davis, and we're here to give you our take on some of the week's biggest stories. This week, red carpets are back, Eternals is divided with critics, AFI is getting ready to premiere some big movies, and the Housewives of New York have more drama.
Surprise, surprise. It's all coming up right now on The Take. After what feels like an eternity of the entertainment industry being shut down, live events are back. This week, A-listers took over Hollywood Boulevard, which was completely shut down for the Gucci fashion show. Last night, Disney had their premiere of Encanto, and I was on the red carpet talking to Gal Gadot, Ryan Reynolds, and The Rock at the premiere of Red Notice. More on that in a bit, but first, Clayton, I have to know, how did you like Encanto?
I loved it. Listen, it's the 60th animated feature of Walt Disney Pictures, and it is beautiful, inclusive, Latino story, but completely relatable to anyone who has come from a family that has unrealistic expectations that you have to live up to. But the music of Lin-Manuel Miranda is incredible, as can be expected now. Tony winner, a Grammy winner, an Emmy nominee, and an Oscar nominee. He's moving his way to EGOT status soon. I will say, I think it might have really taken the forefront in the animated feature category because it is really, really strong.
You always are right with your predictions, I have to say, so I'm sure that we'll be talking more about that as Oscar season gets closer, but also just how much fun is it to be back in action at live events?
I mean, this 3D version of Zoom is much better than the 2D version.
Yes, we are very, very over Zoom, but as I mentioned, I was covering the premiere of Red Notice, which is the biggest budget film to ever come from Netflix, which is massive, but I took the opportunity to talk to Dwayne Johnson about another major story, which we've been talking about on The Take, the tragic death of Helena Hutchins, who was killed on the set of Rust, which is Alec Baldwin's film. Well, Red Notice has Dwayne Johnson handling guns, and he uses firearms in a lot of his action films, so I asked him for his take on using firearms on set. This is what he said.
As we move forward, I think that there are new protocols and new measures, safety measures that we should take, especially in the wake of what just happened. So again, I can't speak for anyone else, but I can tell you without an absence of clarity here, that any movie that we have moving forward with Seven Bucks Productions, any movie, any television show, or anything we do or produce, we won't use real guns at all. We're going to switch over to rubber guns, and we're going to take care of it in post. We're not going to worry about the dollars. We won't worry about what it costs.
That is a huge deal that he is pledging to stop using real guns on set, because Dwayne Johnson is obviously one of the biggest stars in Hollywood and producers with a lot of power. So for him to say this, I'm curious if this will now start a snowball effect in Hollywood of other productions also banning real guns.
And I hope everyone makes that change. Speaking of action films, the newest one in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Eternals, from director and co-writer Chloe Zhao, has opened in theaters. Critics have weighed in on it, and it has been very divisive, actually drawing the lowest rated Rotten Tomatoes score of any MCU film in history thus far. First of all, Elizabeth, it is not a bad movie in the slightest. I think it's one of Marvel's best efforts thus far. Has great action, it focuses a lot on story, it's diverse, it has great characters, all that. I think this speaks to a larger problem that is in the industry. Anytime a woman takes on the action genre, which has been typically made for men to helm, people come harder on that filmmaker when she takes it on. I think it's the issue that needs to be addressed, because it does not draw that criticism that it's been receiving.
I agree with you 100%. Right when you started talking about this, I said, imagine that. The film that is directed by a woman has the lowest score on Rotten Tomatoes. Not warranted.
All right, well, now we move from tent poles over to the festival circuit. AFI Film Festival is getting ready to gear up next week, and we're going to see the world premieres of Lin-Manuel Miranda's Tick, Tick, Boom, his adaptation of the Jonathan Larson musical starring Andrew Garfield. We're going to see Halle Berry's directorial debut, Bruise, in which she also stars. And then we're going to see our first look at Mahershala Ali, who is producing and starring in the film Swan Song from Benjamin Cleary, which we got a first trailer of this week. This is a nice packed lineup, and it is culminating now the end of the fall festival circuit, which is going to bleed into the Oscar season, phase one officially. Tick, Tick, Boom, there's a lot of expectations there. Andrew Garfield could be a serious threat in lead actor. Bruise, I broke the news this week about the soundtrack, which is going to include songs from Cardi B and our reigning Best Original Song champion, H.E.R. genuflect when you see her. And then Swan Song, Mahershala Ali, one of two black men this year that is producing and starring in a major motion picture. And Swan Song could be Apple Original Film's biggest play for awards attention, in addition to the tragedy of Macbeth with Denzel.
It'll be interesting to see. Maybe Mahershala Ali gets his third Oscar.
That would be very quick for someone to nab 3 Oscars in that short amount of time, but crazier things have happened.
Exactly. All right, well, let's move on to some drama with The Real Housewives. This is not on-screen drama. This is behind-the-scenes drama. This week, I broke a story with our colleague, Kate Arthur, about an investigation that occurred behind the scenes at The Real Housewives of New York. So I don't think you're a fan of Housewives. You are?
I love Housewives.
Wait, you are? Of New
Yes.
Wait, I
Yes.
never knew this. Oh my God. Okay. So
I have like
now
an
you're
IV bag of Bethany Frankel, like yes.
Okay, this is news to me. I love it. So you know the players then. So Ramona Singer and Ebony K. Williams, she is the newest housewife, and she made history as the first ever black housewife on the franchise. Well, what we learned is that there was an investigation into claims of racist comments made by Ramona that Ebony brought this formal complaint forward. Well, the investigation concluded Ramona Singer's name was cleared, but then right after we started reporting on this, Ramona brought about more controversy. This week, she tweeted endorsing a stance comparing vaccine mandates to Nazi territory. That's a direct quote. So it remains to be seen what happens next season on Real Housewives of New York. We hear from our sources that casting is not quite underway yet, but the Bravo universe is now all talking about who's going to come back.
Listen, if anyone knows Ramona Singer the way we've known Ramona Singer on TV, if you've seen the episodes of Scary Island, and anytime she goes to any resort and the way she treats the help, this is not surprising. I would have been shocked if no controversy had came out of this season. But this speaks to the network's ignorance or just ignoring of complaints like this going on, I'm sure, for some time about Ramona. And hopefully they take action, because even though she's one of the OGs of the show, you don't get a pass just because you're Ramona Singer.
Anytime that there are complaints made on a production, you hope that all parties involved are, of course, taking it very seriously. In this report, we did state that Bravo had full participation with the third-party investigation, but Ebony was not the only one to make a complaint. A crew member also made a formal complaint that we found was corroborated. So more to come here, but I'm excited that you're a Housewives fan, because now we can have some binging viewing parties together.
Listen, I'm all for Kelly Ben Simone coming back.
Oh, that's a hot take. No pun intended.
Yep.
Anyway, for more on Clayton's takes on the Housewives, apparently, make sure to tune in next week and every single Friday on a brand new episode of The Take.
Thanks for watching.